They don't want to get in the way of your broadsword.
When I start
more of us over here.
When I start plating, I'll move over there.
Things are echoing, Captain.
I'm going to start off by saying that this is a tribute, and this is a tribute to the last man who owned this helmet. A.J. Campbell wrote Classic and Antique Fly Fishing Guides when he passed away about a year and a half ago. I personally feel that in some small way, that man published his book in 1995. Oddly enough, you look around at the dates of the gatherings and stuff, and it kind of correlates with about 1998? About 3 years after AJ's book. He drove so much interest in the history of collecting fly fishing tackle that bamboo rod making came back as a part result of him writing that book. I truly feel this in my heart. So, in a way, every gathering that we have with the bamboo rods owes a little bit to this man. And his other love was recreating the steppe warriors from the Mongol period, the 1300s. And before he passed away, he was about ready to do a 100-mile ride in full gear in Mongolia, and they do this every year as a recreation of the Mongol horde. Only thing was, he'd gathered everything up, and then he had that stroke, and he passed away. So this is my tribute to Asia. I don't know how many programs I could do like this, but we'll do one for sure. So anyhow, I've seen people talking about how there's problems with the Caswell plating kit. People have had very inconsistent results with it. You know, and all it consists of is a transformer and a wand that you put an absorbent material on it, and you can literally brush plate through electrolysis metal from one spot to another. Well, one of the problems, you need to use a fairly high quality plating fluid to start. You want a lot of atoms or ions in your flux. And the other thing is, I've seen post after post after post on the Classic Fly Rod forum. This thing doesn't work. It's a piece of crap. Simple as that. Well, I bought one because I had some plating to do, and I fought it. I fought it pretty hard. And then one day I'm sitting there looking at it, and I'm wondering, why am I having such a hard time getting this nickel to plate? And I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, you know, sometimes we just gotta be smarter than the rocks we're working on. The root problem that everybody has with this plating kit, as far as plating with nickel, is covered up by this little patch of gauze that's all purple. Well, this is not the normal probe or anode that comes with the kit. Everybody in all the advice I've ever seen says, use a stainless steel probe in your brush plating kit. That's what Caswell sells them with. Well, take the stainless steel out and throw it away as far as you can. You replace it if you're plating nickel. You replace it with a piece of half round, half hard nickel silver wire. Use the right anode for the material you want to plate with. By doing that, you're going to increase, Ralph? Absolutely.
I might have that around.
I bet.
I can make it half hard by heating it.
Exactly. But literally, use the same anode as the material you're using. You're going to double or quadruple the amount of ions within the flux for transference from the one to the other. The stainless steel does not plate nickel silver very well. Nickel silver plates nickel silver really well. I think that's the root of the problem that most people have had with the Caswell plating kit. Use the right anode. It's just as simple as that.
Why do you think they package you with silver?
What's the word I'm looking for? Starting off there. Secondly, you can use the stainless steel one maybe a little bit better if you do any of the chrome plating.
Okay.
I would stick with the nickel silver even, if I do any copper plating, I'm going to stick with the nickel silver electrode. it's mostly copper. I use the nickel silver anode when I'm gold plating because you've got to have a copper base on whatever you're plating with gold for the gold to stick. Makes sense. Let's use a nickel silver instead of stainless steel. Stainless steel does not plate very well, does it, Tom?
No.
You know, so
Do they sell it as an option though, Jeff? I mean, when you order different anode materials?
no, they sell it with just the stainless steel spike. And to me, you know, it gives you a little more versatility as far as what you can plate with the kit. But why not just take that out and put the proper anode in so you get more ions in your flux? You're going to get a much better plate by doing that. And I think, you know, that and like Randy was harping about, cleanliness. You got to have everything clean. Just cleanliness is absolutely critical. You know, those are the things. That's Dave.
Stupid question probably, but what is half hard nickel silver?
It's just a soft wire.
Where can you get some?
I buy it from jeweler supplies, beading supplies, supply houses.
Can you use silver solder wire?
No, it's different. You want nickel silver, NIAG. It's a higher copper content, whereas silver is silver. But you don't want a silver anode. You want a nickel silver.
Should note that the nickel silver is actually a misnomer. There's no silver in it.
Exactly. It's copper and tin. Right?
Zinc. The more
Zinc.
zinc you have in it, the whiter it gets.
Right. It's one of the relatives of the bronze family.
It's white brass.
There's something about the fishing community that they can't mean things.
Well, no, it's Cliffy. We've done that for hundreds of
I
years.
know.
You know, so like I say, you know, the main things are keep it clean. If you keep it clean, change your anode. And I want to pass this thing around, and you'll see some odd splotches on it. Those are from gold plate. But you can see how this thing is bloody well eaten up. Sorry, AJ, can't do it no more.
I wondered how long you were gonna last, Jeff.
Yeah, put it in the sun so it's good and hot.
Take the helmet off.
Yeah, it's too shiny.
I did.
Stand in the shade.
I deserve this. So anyhow, I asked Lee to find me a ferrule that needs plated. No, Lord, did he find me one. Randy sandpaper. Your sandpaper. Okay. To give you guys an idea, this is not a well-fit ferrule.
Really?
Okay? I actually knocked this one is a reverse hourglass, like this. Okay? So it's got a high point right in the middle. I actually cut that down, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to plate at least the lower half and make it fit right. I'll probably touch the upper half and see if I can get it close. I don't know if I can do this in an hour or not, but we'll give it a shot. But you can tell how bad that is, literally.
I mean, they're not supposed to fit that way.
No roll casts.
Makes it easier to take down at night.
Yeah.
This is very true, Jerry.
And it's easier to put together, so.
That's right.
What's wrong?
Lee,
I just want to say that that's a good point to talk about that female, because you can put as much nickel silver as you want on the male slide, but if you have a weird shaped female that is not cylindrical, you're going to have many problems as you did before you ever started plating.
exactly. This one, as you slide it in, Lee, man, you can feel it. I mean, the male is really loose. Then all of a sudden, there's this spot on the male where it's literally
Where it catches.
looks like it was grobade like this, and then like this, with a high spot right in the middle. This is similar to a rod that Pat Garner sent to me that belonged to Ernie Schweber. Ernie loved the rod. I mean, he fished that rod until you could literally drop the ferrules in. Took me about a month, but I got it to fit again. But it was long, slow, tedious work, plate after plate after plate after plate, to build it up high enough to be able to fit it back and make it right. But Pat did get a fish on his rod again.
So can you
Richard?
plate the inside of the female?
Nope. Nope. If you've got a screwed up in, I'm glad you brought that up, Lee. One of my pet peeves. This really drives me just insane as an iron worker.
Short drive.
Tough crowd. They know me too well. Well, I see these guys offering in the classic fly rod form this tool they call a ferrule shrinking tool. My background, my initial background in my working life is I had my journeyman ironworker's card before I was 21 years old. This should explain me partly right there. Cracks from the beginning. Well, within that time frame, I actually passed certification to weld on the Fort St. Vrain nuclear power plant. I have a deep, deep background in metallurgy. And anytime somebody talks about taking a metal tube and running a thing on it that actually squishes that tube down to tighten it, do any of these people understand the term metal fatigue? Don't do that. That's the worst thing you can do to fix a ferrule, is trying to squish the female. That's the absolute worst. See, there's no hair left.
Tell us, Jeff, tell us how you really feel.
Fair time.
Jeff?
Jeff?
Yes, sir.
After you do that, is that like, are you work hardening it, or you're just stressing it the way?
You're stressing it.
So
That thing's gonna relax back to original, Rick.
Can you anneal it?
Yeah, boy, then you run it, like Randy said, you run into all sorts of problems when you start annealing and re-hardening ferrules.
If you kneel it on the rod,
Yeah, if you would. So, my main thrust about this is, one, we need to use the right anode. Transfer as much ions into that flux as we possibly can. That's the main thing. And when I first talked to Lee about this, I really got him. My first comment was, yeah, I got a program. It's about just being smarter than the rocks we work on.
fortunately I love Jeff, so.
So he let me slide. So anyhow,
In other words, you dumbass.
Like I say, it's just to increase the amount of ions you have available within your flux, your fluid that has your plating material in it. By doing that, you increase the plate you're going to put down. Clean everything clean, once again. When I start off, I will start off with, of all things, acetic acid.
All that vinegar.
Yeah, apple cider.
Heinz all natural apple cider vinegar.
I like how it smells. High fructose corn syrup. No. Okay. Then comes the nasty one. Okay, you guys. This one you got to be really careful with. But it's readily available if you're on good terms with your local Napa Auto Parts store. Okay. This is probably one step that most everybody misses, and now you got, like Randy with his bottles, you got to be really careful in rod makers' shops, because when you have bottles that have clear liquids in them, you never know what they're going to be, and they're probably not good for you.
I mark all my bottles with skull and crossbones and what they are.
It's on there.
Yeah.
It's on there. Hydrochloric acid. You want to strip the face of your metal. This also activates it so that it will accept the Caswell plating fluid. And gnomes are tough, but they're not that tough.
I didn't mean you to strip my computer over my phone.
Yeah, no doubt.
Jeff, are those nitro gloves or what are those? What are they called? Rubber?
Nice one. And I hate using this stuff, but it's one of those times when it is a necessity. I'm gonna go in very carefully and I'm just gonna strip the slide.
What is that?
Hydrochloric acid. Battery acid. And like I say, if you're on good terms with your Napa, go ahead and tell them what you're gonna do. Tell them that you are gonna be careful. And that it will be marked properly. And usually they'll cut loose with a little, it doesn't take much. And it'll last forever.
Jeff, when we plated mouthpieces and things, we use sodium cyanide. Yeah, so.
That explains a lot.
Thank you.
Jeff, that muriatic acid, is that the same thing?
So Randy, what were you plating it with?
Hydrochloric.
Silver, copper, or
Battery
We
acid.
did 3 different things. Something flashed.
Did you just go out to your car and,
Well, that's why you go to Napa. Okay. Lee, or actually, did you do me a favor? Did you grab that box? Look in there and see if there's a, or did it get blown out? That will fake it.
What are you looking for, Jeff?
Oh, I got it right here.
Oh, okay.
Now, y'all noticed how eaten up that piece of wire was. When I put it into this holder, it was absolutely shiny slick. I mean, you know, the electrolytic process is literally starting to eat it away. I'm using gauze. Sure. Anything absorbent. And I've had problems with all sorts of things just not holding this stuff on very well. And I ended up with little strips of leather. It absorbs the material, it transfers the fluid, and it's tough. It doesn't fall apart on you. Now comes the fun part. Now, you might actually want to move up so you can start seeing this. I've tried to do this by dipping it, setting it up as an actual dip tank, and I've not had good luck. If you were close enough, you could actually see there's bubbling going on. You can see the electrolytic process happening if you're real close to it. And literally, it's just a matter of just slow, steady, lots of patience.
Really transferring, the plating is going on, is transferring to reality.
Uh-huh.
So I speak to school.
See the change in color, Lee?
Yeah, I know, you actually spotted in rock at work.
Sorry. Now, as far down as I had to work this, it's going to take a bit to get this to actually start taking. Oh, there we go. Now, you can see how little time I spent right there. You'll see a discoloration. That's how much I've plated it already. Just out of curiosity. Now, right here, you remember right there? It would click, but it was fairly loose. See how much harder I had to push on it right there? I've probably added at least 1,000 there already. Just that little bit. I'm not going to be able to plate this back to where it fits today. I can tell you that right now. This one is bad enough. This would take anywhere from 3 to probably 5 hours of very slowly, very painfully working this back up.
And then that's an instant thing, right, Jeff? You don't have to like wait for it to cure or hard.
Oh no, it's once it's on there, it's on there. In a way, it's welding at a very, very low amperage.
Polish it and plate
Oh,
it.
absolutely, absolutely.
How about
Sorry.
durability?
It's very good. It'll last as long as the original Ferrule did.
Same material, right?
Yeah, same material.
What's in the bottle?
This is Caswell's plug and plate nickel solution. So what you've got in the bottle is, where is it?
Should say on it.
It's nickel salt.
It's a
Yeah, it's a nickel salt.
It should say what it is.
It doesn't get on here.
It doesn't on the
It's
bottle.
on the safety.
On the safety sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But come on, Lee, help me out. What is it?
Well, it's they use that salt to dissolve or to pull molecules of nickel into the solution, and that salt holds the molecules of nickel. And then when you put your turn your anode on, electricity passes through that anode, through the solution, and when it passes through that solution, the electricity has enough power to break the nickel molecule